Leonard looking to throw, has time, throws it out of the backfield. It's intercepted. Kenny Moore is going to go to the house. A pick six right out of the gates.
Jones, three-step drop, throws, intercepted! Darius Leonard has it with the stiff arm, and he's taken down inside the 5, but another turnover.
You know who the man is around there that gets on everybody's nerves. Big draws over there behind that disc. He tells Andrew, this is word, bro. He tells Andrew, you're either playing this year or we're moving on. Who the fuck would tell Andrew Luck that? Right?
That's crazy. I
Andrew
knew
Luck,
that. That's crazy.
Andrew Luck now says, I'm not going to be ready. I'm tired of playing with pain. I retire.
They say that I was a bad teammate. Bro, they say that I wasn't doing treatment to make myself better. That what broke my heart, bro. And when I say it broke my heart to a point where I said I don't want to play the NFL anymore. If this is how ruthless it is, don't tarnish my name and my reputation and what I've done for this organization to say that I'm a bad person, I'm a bad teammate, bad leader, I don't do this. I walked away from it because
Here, Indiana move. We from Indiana, we from Indiana move. I'm an Indiana move.
Ball. There's a fumble. Who's got it? The officials say the Colts do.
Great team win, baby.
Drops it way downfield. Intercepted. Coming forward and making the INT for the Colts in the back end. To see the Colts win Super Bowl.
Hey, win on three. 1, 2, 3, win!
Welcome back to the channel. This is Marcus Sniffles, and we're here to talk about a pretty big interview that went down that has a lot of people talking. That was just a lot of chitter chatter and whatnot. We're going to talk a little bit about a trade request from a longtime Colt. But before we get into that, make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe. We drop videos every Monday at 7 in the morning. So turn on those notifications so you don't miss a video. So the big kind of news that was going around was that Eric Ebron did an interview with Darius Leonard on his podcast, and he pretty much insinuated that Andrew Luck and himself kind of already had a pact that they weren't going to play during Andrew Luck's last season. And then he pretty much said that Chris Ballard gave him an ultimatum and said, like, hey, if you do not play this season, if you do not tough it out through your, I think they said he had bone spurs in his ankle. Eric Ebron said that Chris Ballard told Andrew Luck, if you don't tough it out this season, we're going to move in a different direction. That is what Eric Ebron said on his podcast. Now, Andrew Luck has done multiple interviews since his retirement. He's talked about his retirement multiple times. So this is clearly not true. This is clearly just somebody that has an axe to grind with the Colts and wants them to look bad and is trying to, make his podcast a little bit better, get more eyes on it, get more views. And I somewhat understand that, but going with that particular story, when that is easily refutable, like Andrew Luck has said out of his own mouth, the reason why he's retired, like he's done multiple interviews, he's done written interviews, he's done spoken interviews, he's done casual interviews, like he's talked about it a lot. And he even came out again and talked with another reporter to say like him and Chris Ballard have a good relationship, and that is not true. And I get it. In the content creator game, you got to do what you got to do to kind of make a name for yourself and blow up. But there are other stories and things that you could talk about to make your podcast better, to make your show better. And like I sit and I watched the whole, I think it was like an hour and a half interview that they did with Darius Leonard. And the one thing I will say about Eric Ebron, and I'm one of the smaller content creators in the Colts creator sphere on YouTube here. So if I were to give him any advice, I would say that he kind of he overtalks too much. He's a big talker, and he kind of overtalked Darius when he was getting into stories and getting a little bit personal and sharing more anecdotes and tidbits that would have helped this podcast go a little bit more viral. Some of the stuff that stood out to me that Darius was saying is kind of the back and forth him and Gus Bradley had. Like if you look at what Darius's career was with with Matt Eberflus, he was a terror. Like he came out of the gates. Like we're gonna stop and just kind of look at what what Shaq Leonard did out of the gate. First, his rookie season, first team All-Pro, defensive rookie of the year. The thing that kind of stands out is that he did not make the Pro Bowl. How do you make first team All-Pro and win defensive rookie of the year and don't make the Pro Bowl? That's beside the point. He kind of mentioned that, how upset he was about that. Made the Pro Bowl his second year, second team All-Pro. Third year, Pro Bowl again, first team All-Pro. Fourth year, Pro Bowl again, first team All-Pro. We're talking 4 straight All-Pro seasons to come out of the gate. Like that's a Hall of Fame trajectory in any aspect of anyone's career. You can look at some of the greatest careers of all time. How many of them have 4 first team? How many have 4 All-Pro selections in the first 4 years? There's not that many. Like Peyton Manning wasn't an All-Pro 4 out of the first 4 years. Patrick Mahomes. I think Barry Sanders is one of the few that was like a All-Pro every year for the first couple of years. But to do that as a linebacker, as a defensive player, just come out the gate, All-Pro, 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 and then get hurt. It sucks. Like I know a lot of people do the, what if they had never got hurt, and it's always Andrew Luck that gets brought up. But we kind of forget about what Shaq Leonard was doing. He was getting like double-digit sacks and all these interceptions and forced fumbles, turnovers, touchdowns. Just a maniac out there, one would say. But he was such a great player to watch, and I enjoyed watching his career. It's sad that his career got cut so short. But then he talked about he had 9 surgeries in 5 years. And I believe most of those were back surgeries. And I can say, as someone that has had like minor back issues, I could only imagine having back issues so bad that you have to have surgery and then go out there and try to play football. Like that just sounds terrible. And I get it. When you make, that many All-Pro teams, that many Pro Bowls, your defensive rookie of the year, you've made a lot of money. He made it to a second contract, and that's always the goal for a lot of these players, especially as a second round pick who was kind of touted as one of the worst picks in that draft. So you got paid a lot of money. You got kids, you got a wife at home, you got a bad back. Like, as much as it sucked to see his career kind of, fade away, I'm glad that he's a little bit better mentally and doing better physically. And that was somewhat of the reason why he, wanted to he asked for his release or ended up having to retire. It's just because how bad the business was, when our defense wasn't doing good and he wasn't playing well because he was hurt. Now all of a sudden it's, Darius Leonard isn't studying the playbook, or he's a me guy, or he's being selfish. And it's just like, when you think about all the things that he has sacrificed physically and mentally, getting all these surgeries, going through all this rehab, taking a step back on the defense, saying like, okay, if I'm not going to play third down, let me just lock in on first and second down and help out the way I can with the other guys on third down and let the other guys get better. And I'll just sit back and do first and second down. And then I'll do what I can on the sideline and be a coach, essentially. And, having to get, tucked, having the idea that Gus Bradley is kind of, out there not taking accountability, according to Shaq Leonard. Like, I could see that out of Gus Bradley just because his defense was so vanilla. He never changed anything. He never did anything different. He never blitzed. He never called stunts or twists or any kind of different coverages. No man coverage, no cover 8, no cover 4, no cover 1. Nothing. It was all just base cover 3 stuff. And if you run the same stuff over and over again, and you don't have, like, the base cover 3 style of defense works when you have the Legion of Boom, when you have a great elite secondary, a great elite pass rush. Then you can just run the most basic defense because your players will make the plays for you. When you don't have, elite players at every level, you got to kind of switch it up. And that was my big push to get Lou Anarumo when after we let go of Gus Bradley. It's like we need somebody that's going to call different styles of defense. It's gonna get a little freaky out there. that's what we needed. And I wish Shaq Leonard would have stayed healthy enough to play under Lou Anarumo's defense. I think they would have been a match made in heaven, if I'm being completely honest. But yeah, Eric Ebron, I get it. You're trying to get your podcast up, but you ain't got to lie, Craig. Like, come on, guys. I'm going to go ahead and tell you guys something. About 90% of you guys that watch this video are not subscribed to the channel. Don't be a weirdo. Subscribe to the channel. Don't be part of the 90%. Be a part of the 10%. And let's get that 10% to 90%. So 90% of you guys that are watching are actually subscribed. That would help me out a lot. Cost you nothing. It's free and I'd appreciate it. There was something that Eric said about the 2018-2019 roster, the team that we had right before, the team that we had when Andrew Luck retired. And they were talking about how, that was going to be the Super Bowl team and that was the best team in the NFL going into the next season. And I mean, I think we were a contender. We still had great players. We still had, like I said, Shaq Leonard. We had Marlon Mack still at running back. We had Anthony Walker. Zaire Franklin was coming up. Rocky Sam was coming up. Kenny Moore was still there. Corey Willis, Malik Hooker. And that roster with Jacoby Brissett went 7-9. So you got to think if we have Andrew Luck, we probably win maybe 12, 13 games, possibly win a division. And, I think we're a contending team. But you got to think like the Chiefs were still a thing out there. I think Tom Brady was still a Patriot. He was still in the Patriots, so the Patriots were, still a thing. You still had Lamar Jackson. You still had Josh Allen coming up. It would have been tough, but we would have at least won the AFC South that year with Andrew Luck. I totally believe that. So I'll give Eric Ebron a lot of credit on that. You made it this far. If you have not liked the video at this point, what are you waiting for? Just like the video. Hit the like button right now. I'm talking to you. Make sure you like the video and subscribe and drop a comment. All that stuff. This is a threat. Not a threat, a warning. But it could be a threat. Just do it. So off of the podcast drama, there was a little bit of news that came out. And I feel like it's coming out pretty late. Like free agency is kind of over. We're, I believe, a week away from the draft. And Kenny Moore and the Colts have decided like, hey, we should explore a trade. I don't know who went to who first, but I think the Colts save about $5 million if they move off of him. Kenny's in the last year of his deal. So I don't know if I get it. I get it in terms of Kenny Moore's age and his contract. Like for me, I think I would have ran it back one more year with him just because it was the last year of his deal and he's a little bit older. And you don't really know how much trade value he would actually have considering his age. And if we're being honest, Kenny Moore didn't play that well last year. Like it just seems like he's not a great fit in this defense. He seems more of a, sit back and read the zone and make plays off the quarterback's eyes and things of that nature. Like playing in man coverage is not really his strong suit anymore just because of, his age and all that stuff. So I don't know what we can get for him. I think come probably after the draft, we might be able to swing a 6. It's probably going to end up being a 7th round pick, which I don't know. It kind of seems like this should have been something that we handled or addressed at the beginning of free agency when there were a lot more moves being made. I think maybe we could have pulled a better trade, got more value for him. But it kind of makes me wonder, there was a lot of talk about Jalen Jones getting moved. And if we're going to trade Kenny Moore, I feel like we have to keep Jalen Jones, even though I think that our cornerback room is still really good without Kenny Moore. Like, obviously, we have Sauce Gardner still, Travarius Ward, Justin Wally, who was getting first-team reps as a rookie, Mekhi Blackman. We just signed Cam Taylor-Britt. Cam Mitchell, I thought, played very well last season. And then we'll probably draft a rookie to play cornerback in the draft. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. That's at least 5 guys that are fully capable of playing starters snaps. And that's not including Jalen Jones. So if you include Jalen Jones, that's 6 cornerbacks that we have that have gotten a lot of playing time. Like Jalen Jones has 2 years of starters experience, essentially. Mekhi Blackman got a lot of starter snaps last year. Cam Mitchell, the same thing. Our weakest link would technically be whatever rookie we bring in Cam Taylor-Britt. So does it suck to lose someone like Kenny Moore, to lose someone that's been like a locker room staple, a leader in this team for like 9 years? Like he's one of those players that Chris Ballard can hang his hat on. Like, I found this guy. He was an undrafted rookie. He was in the New England Patriots training camp, and he got waived by them, and we picked him up. He played for 9 years. His stats were kind of crazy. Like, as for his career, he has 21 career interceptions, 6 fumble forces, 2 fumble returns, 11.5 sacks, a shitload of tackles for his position and size. We all remember the game he had against the Carolina Panthers where he had like 2 pick sixes. We all remember the play against the Raiders where he pretty much like one-handed it, did it like a Jordan thing, and snatched the ball out of the end zone. That was in 2020. Like, I'm not gonna. This is kind of the same thing I said about Zaire Franklin, where it's like you find these guys that, and this is what Chris Ballard is great at. He's great at these late round undrafted free agent guys that you can bring in, develop. They turn into a reliable player. They start out on special teams, and then they get some reps on defense, and then they become a starter, and then they become a Pro Bowler. And then for Zaire Franklin, he became an All-Pro. But for Kenny Moore to go from undrafted to Pro Bowl to getting a second contract, I think he even got a third contract here. That's an incredible, incredible career. For him to be in the NFL for 9 years, coming from Valdosta State, incredible, and like unspeakable. That's like, there's a less than 1% chance of someone of Kenny Moore's size and stature and the school that he came from to make it in the NFL, much less stay in the NFL for 9 years. So we'll probably go into a little bit more in depth about Kenny's career and his time here once the trade actually happens and we find out where he goes. I'm not sure how many teams are going to be calling for him or where he should go or where his best fit would be. I feel like for him, if I'm his agent and knowing how Chris Ballard is, he wants to send, his guys to winning situations. I could see like Kansas City maybe calling, maybe Baltimore or the Buffalo Bills. Like, Kenny Moore's not going to want to leave the Colts and go to the Carolina Panthers. Like, he's not going to want to go play for a bad team. He's going to want to go somewhere and compete. He's got 1 year left on his deal, and hopefully he doesn't go to like the Texans or the Jaguars or something like that. Hopefully he goes to the NFC. Maybe he goes to Washington or Dallas. But yeah, I've enjoyed Kenny's career here in Indianapolis. I think he's been a great player. In my opinion, I think he's a top 25 Colt of all time. And his name is definitely going to be in the Ring of Honor. Not a jersey retired guy, but Ring of Honor for sure. His name is going to be, it's going to ring bells in that stadium for eternity, essentially. That's all we got for today. Let me know in the comments what you think. Where do you think Kenny Moore should go to? Should we just start ignoring Eric Ebron and everything he has to say? What is your favorite play from Shaq, Leonard, and Kenny Moore from their career here in Indianapolis? Make sure you guys turn on your notifications, drop a like and a comment. We drop videos every Monday, 7 in the morning. Someone's got their cars loud as hell out there. But anyway, every Monday, 7 in the morning, we're dropping videos. So be there or be square. And I'll see you on the next one. Go Colts.
Thanks for watching, babe. Make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel.